Hello, everyone. So should I do the intro then? Oh, I just noticed something. Give me 2 seconds.
Absolutely. All I know is we've had a bit of a break, so yeah, welcome back to ourselves and everyone else. And one of the things we'd like to look at today, Marco's working on a capybara, a feature spec. So once I don't imagine it is today, but quite often it's the cats that Marco has to deal with trying to attack him whilst on the call. So once they're dealt with, then hopefully we can get cracking.
Yes, I'm back.
I blamed the cats, Marco. Is that right?
I forgot the door open and they sneaked inside the bedroom. Okay, so let's get cracking. So 1 week ago, someone opened an issue about the issue description field keeping the draft of the previously opened issue. And that's a recently introduced bug, I guess, or a
Regression, bug, whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I sharing? Yes. So yeah, the fix was relatively easy because basically whenever we type something inside a description, is it issue description, MR description, or even comments, I guess.
Yep.
They get saved on the browser's local storage so that when you reload the page, you don't lose everything you wrote.
Great.
And basically, when the create issue button was clicked, the cache wasn't cleaned, the local storage wasn't clean. So after you submit the issue and you go to the new issue page another time, basically you were getting the issue description that you wrote earlier.
Did you get as far or explore to sort of see how the regression occurred? Because sometimes it's interesting to sort of see when it was introduced, and I'm sure it's not deliberate, but just if there was any background, I think that's helpful. And I presume, we're now about to talk about tests, which is where we'll sort of make sure that it doesn't regress again. But
yeah, I didn't dig that much, but I hope I don't. Himanshu, I guess, linked me the MR that caused the regression, and this one I didn't have a look at it yet, but
is it switching to the new content editor which supports rich text or whatever you call it, more like a WYSIWYG? Cool.
Okay. Yes, that's what introduced the regression.
Okay.
Okay, so looking at the fix, maybe it's easier to see it here on my MR. Basically, well, not difficult and not even sad, but the tricky part is that the new Markdown editor is written in Vue, while the new issue page is a mix of Haml and Vue.
Okay.
So we had to make the create issue button communicate with the Vue application.
Okay.
And we actually had two ways of doing this. So the Markdown editor, when the component is getting mounted, I basically the first thing that we could do is when the component is mounted, look for the create issue button, because they all have an ID, so we can find the create issue button and subscribe to the click event. so that when the create issue button is clicked, we can clear the local storage. But this has the problem that ties in maybe too much the Markdown editor to the create issue page, because we have to hard code the button. I don't remember what I used, but basically the query selector for the button
Right.
inside the Markdown editor, and that's not really ideal. So the other way to do this is using event hubs.
Okay.
So I added a new event hub because we didn't have one for the Markdown editor. And on the Markdown editor, when it's mounted, I subscribed for to listen for the clear autosave entry event.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, when that event fires, I'm clearing the local storage.
Mm-hmm.
And that event is fired from the logic that I said before. Basically, I'm subscribing to the click event from the submit button, but instead of doing it inside of the view component, I'm doing it on when the Markdown editor is mounted, so we can keep the two things separate, so we can reuse the component without hard coding custom logic inside of that.
Cool.
Can I jump in here? I
Yeah.
don't know what the state of GitLab is at the moment, but how frequent are the 500 errors when submitting an issue?
An issue or an MR?
Are they? I guess either, because this is used on both issues and MRs, isn't it?
Yeah, but well, for MRs, I guess we are pretty much down to 0.
Yeah,
Okay.
since they moved it to asynchronous diff calculation, I think that's pretty much been eliminated. But I guess
go on. The first issue I see with this is that if you're doing it when you click the button, if the request fails and you need to go back in history, then you're going to lose your content, which I guess is what the original intent of this was.
So I'd be interested in testing that because I don't quite know how this behavior works, but on some websites, when you submit a form and press back, the form data is still there, and some it isn't. And I don't think they're doing any clever autosave. I think it's sort of maybe out of the box functionality. So I'd be interested to test that. Yeah,
I'd imagine that's more just a standard form, though, rather than a fancy thing like this. I don't know, but yeah, I think it would be worth checking too.
Yeah, it's almost inadvertent sort of. Yeah, it's definitely a bug though, and I'd feel wrong not fixing the bug because it helps us in some other weird error scenario. I'm trying to think what we could do to. Yeah, we should think about that though. Maybe at the end about how we can. Because submitting forms and then, oh crap, something went wrong. How do I get that data back? Is definitely a.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how difficult this would be, or if it would be the right way of doing it. But I feel like the local storage should be cleared once you get to the view issue or view MR page of the issue or MR that you've just created.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you know you've got to you've gone the good path. Your issue has been created. Now just forget about whatever content you had in that local storage.
The issue is, how do you know that you get to that issue details from?
Yeah, in a full SPA application, it would be trivial.
Yeah,
but because you're not doing it in a full SPA thing, it gets a bit more awkward. Would it actually? Because you could, if yeah, because you don't want to do it on every issue page. Every time you view a page, you don't want to clear the cache.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to continue with the boring solution, but potentially raise a follow up. I think it should be achievable. I'm not sure if I've quite got my brain around it, but the controller I think could quite easily have knowledge of if this issue. So essentially, when you create a new issue or a new merge request, I think you do a post to whatever the endpoint is. And then it does a redirect to like the get, and I think we could pass something then reasonably.
That was my epiphany just then. Yeah, a boring solution could just be on that redirect from submit, append something to the URL. It would be a bit kind of nasty from a URL point of view, but
yeah, I think you might even be able to. I mean, maybe it does need to be URL, but you might even be able to do it in the redirect. No, I think you're right, because a redirect is doing like a 301 or a 302.
Yeah,
and that has to use it can't put post data in or whatever. So yeah,
we could actually take another approach. So instead of subscribing to the click event on the button, subscribe to the submit event on the form.
It still doesn't really overcome, I don't think, Andrew's concern of, well, the form might be submitted, but the server might then return a 500 error.
Yeah, I was having a look at the documentation to check if maybe the submit event did contain some information about the status of the request, but it doesn't really like. So types, no.
Let's work on the spec for your current solution, but I definitely think it's worth creating an issue to discuss further. Like, yeah, if there's a better way to.
Yeah, let's solve the issue first, and then
exactly. That's definitely solving a different problem, albeit equally interesting.
Yeah. The other solution would be to completely rewrite that page to be a view application.
Well, I mean that would be a solution for sure, but there's definitely I'm convinced that there is a simpler.
In the long term, that's definitely the solution, and we kind of already have most of the components needed. But let's not dive too deep. Okay, so back to the tests. I got a suggestion from Himanshu about rather than making sure, where was the suggestion? Let me check. Yeah, instead of adding a JavaScript test, just add a feature test to make sure that when you reload you go back to the new issue page, the description is clear, basically, after you have submitted an issue. So he pointed me to this user creates issues pack, which already contains something along those lines, but it's only checking for the title. Oh, where did it go? In here. Basically, it checks for, it clears the local cache, local storage after creating a new issue. And that's good. But just to try and understand what this is doing, because I never wrote a capybara test before, I think that 2x basically tells the test to visit the page twice and visit the page at this URL and waits for the page to fully load. And then it does some checks to make sure that in this case, the title field is empty, and then writes the title and the description and clicks the button. So I would expect this to have something like this description and fail, but
So, sorry, I zoned out for a couple of seconds there. I had to deal with an email. But did you say you added this back, or it was already here?
no, this was already there, but it was only checking for the title, not the description.
Okay. So my assumption is it's a very bad one, and we shouldn't make assumptions, but each test is isolated. Oh no, because this is still one test, even though it's doing it 2 times. See, I was thinking that the local each test spins up obviously like a brand new, and the local storage is cleared at that point. But this is one test, isn't it? And it's just got a for loop essentially inside the test that will do a couple of things.
Yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, we would expect it to be failing, wouldn't we?
Wait, this I just added. It was
but the title gets remembered as well, doesn't it?
No, because that's remembered on another field and on another piece of local storage.
Oh, okay. We'll try this and see if it fails. But
yeah, the thing that I don't understand is have field title, but looking at the go to the right page. New issue. How is it checking for the field? Because maybe by the field name. Where is it? Here. Form input no. The title is here. Input name issue title. Okay, maybe that's this function from the test have field is referring to the title field name, I guess.
Yeah, although it is a bit obscure, isn't it? You'd expect it to maybe be issue title, not just title.
Yeah, and the thing that threw me off is that here it's using title with a capital T.
Yeah.
So if it's case sensitive, that would always pass or maybe error out if the field isn't found, but I don't know how we find
it. I guess we could just change title to like supercalifragilistic or whatever random word we want to put in there and just see if that. Yeah, exactly. I'll start Googling for this have field matcher to sort of see if it's well documented and what it does and how it does. And right, so it actually checks if it has a form field with the given label, name, or ID. So it's checking including the label.
The label?
So my suspicion is that the label...
I don't think this label.
No, especially because it's got the word required in there.
Exactly. But what I know is that the test did fail, so that's working. So title is okay. I wonder if it's this inside of the brackets.
Yeah, so maybe If it's that vague, let me keep reading just to see if it is.
In the meantime, I'm going to try with the description.
I'd really be surprised. Really be surprised. Maybe we'll even try changing it from title to issue square brackets title just to satisfy us as well. So,
Like this.
yeah.
Oh, and the test with description did work out. So
it's definitely doing something weird.
let's just check if that issue description works.
Cool.
And I wonder if, because now this is a view component, I wonder how they do get the data out of this one. Text area, placeholder ID, name, issue description. Okay.
So it's still got the sort of legacy name.
Yes. Okay, yeah, issue title worked. So I guess title is just looking for the title string inside of the name field.
Oh yeah. What if we change it to like title and remove the E off the end? Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that it's doing this fuzzy match, or at least it doesn't seem to be well documented.
Yeah. And if this is the case, it's strange. Because checking for a substring, but even checking, maybe it's just a regular expression.
Yeah, maybe.
Nope, this doesn't work.
I should be able to jump to the source code and find out, shouldn't I?
In the meantime, since it worked, let's try to test this and break my test. Okay, so this works. Let's try to break it. This one.
So this is on your fixed, your patched branch. Okay.
Okay. I hope it doesn't work. So that means it works. I mean, the change is working because I tried it on JDK and it works. But the test, yes.
Excellent. And let's have a look at the screenshot and see if it's what we think it is.
That is not easy with the value, but there were no matches. Also, bug description. Okay, that's expected to be empty, but was bug description. Let's have a look at the screenshot.
I guess it is going to be exactly as we expect it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so this was simple. Okay, so I guess we can push this MR to the finish line if we also fix the other suggestion about, yeah, we should also pass autosave key to this function so they don't contain this particular draft, because there could be many instances of the the markdown editor on one page, because when we are editing an issue, we could have the issue description and a comment and a reply to a comment, or multiple replies open at the same time.
Okay, and that's already handled in terms of that they don't overwrite each other.
I guess so.
Clearly, I guess, yeah.
Because they are using autosave key is. Oh, this is specifically for the description, though. So, yeah, we could always do that because mount markdown editor. Where is the markdown editor?
So it looks like document location path. So it looks like it's saving specifically for the like new issue in this project type.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Gotcha. I'm not sure what search term.
Editor view. Oh boy. Comment note. Well, on the comment form. How
are you clearing it at the moment? Can you show me what the?
Oh yeah.
Do you pass it? You don't pass a key, so you're clearing the entire.
Yeah. I just want to check one thing quickly. Markdown editor. Autosave key. Logged in. Note, notable type, notable data ID. Okay, so they're saving to different, using different keys. Okay, so the markdown editor is using basically every time there's a change to the text area.
Yep.
It's calling. Find it, this save draft method, which if it doesn't have any autosave key, it does nothing.
Yep.
If the markdown has some text, it updates the draft. This is a function inside here, I guess. Update draft. No, it's from the autosave library. It has update draft, clear draft, and get draft. Basically, update, remove, and get. And when the event hub fires, I just created the clear draft method on the component that it basically calls the clear draft method on the.
So it's already passing the key, so you should be all good, right?
Oh yeah. I just need to do this basically. Let me check. On here, the clear draft is okay. Basically, where I fired the event, I should basically pass the autosave key. So let's do this. Autosave key. This. And pass it as a parameter of the event. So then on the editor, I can check that the event is fired for that specific Markdown editor. Clear draft.
Right, because you put that code in the Markdown editor,
Exactly.
which is reused. Okay, I think that makes sense.
Yes. The only issue is that if I do it like this, I can't use the off. So how do I do this?
Because you could have, yeah.
Well, since I added this clear draft method, it's not being used anywhere else. I could just do this.
It's to do with the adding of the time and the increase in the estimate.
And we would be good.
I think this one.
But it's still. Oh god, I'm trying to get my brain around this. So
If you have two Markdown editors,
yeah,
they both have different keys.
yeah,
Both subscribe to a submit button if they have a submit button. And when the submit button clicks, I emit the clear autosave entry event, passing in the autosave key relative to the Markdown editor of that specific button.
yeah.
So from the Markdown editor, I clear the draft only for the only when
The matching one, essentially.
Exactly.
But have you still got the I forget what you call it, like the amount one that's removing the
before destroy.
But won't that okay, that's in before destroy.
Yeah, before destroy.
Okay. So what was the problem? I mean, that solution works fine, but you could have because before destroy you always want to unmount it. Oh, I don't know. Now I'm getting confused. So with the event hub, aren't you? I don't. I'm trying to figure out how this scenario can occur. Okay, so you've got an issue page. You're editing the description of an existing issue. You're also adding a new comment to that issue.
Yeah.
When
at the moment this would never occur because the create comment button has a different query selector from the edit issue description save button, basically, because I'm using the JS issuable submit button query
Right.
selector to find that specific button.
Okay.
And now that I think of that, I wonder.
Oh, cancel. You should do as well, shouldn't you?
No.
Why not?
Should we?
Yeah.
If you don't want, well, you sure? Because if I want to cancel, but
That's a very deliberate. Oh, I've started to do something. I've changed my mind. I want to cancel and go out. And basically, we should go back to how it used to work. And I mean, I and somebody else could quite easily check in a self-hosted or GDK running the older version that's how it used to behave.
do you have it and I can try? Because I am sharing screen. Otherwise,
I can't share my screen and do it, but I can definitely try it and confirm.
Yeah. Just checking.
So,
I want to check this in the meantime. This button here. Yeah, button content ID.
right, yeah. So if I create a new issue. Just going to try creating one just to make sure that that bug doesn't currently exist. Annoyingly, that bug already exists. I've upgraded this, which I didn't realize, to 15.11, which I guess is when we introduce regression.
Okay, so I can test that then. Let me. Can you hide my screen?
Absolutely, yeah.
I've just been thinking in the background here. What is this feature supposed to do?
The autosave.
Yeah, so like I'm trying to think if we're going about this the wrong way and if it's better to, or trying to see if there's a dumber way of implementing the whole feature in general.
So my understanding would be, yeah, it's autosave, the same thing that Word and every other what's-it does it, so that when if your computer crashes or you accidentally close the browser tab, there might be a few other excuses where you basically lose your progress. You come back onto that page and it was, you pick up where you left off.
And I'm so you were looking at the key, the autosave key, weren't you, as well?
Exactly, yeah.
I've forgotten how that was calculated now.
So it looked like it was not exactly, but basically the URL. So yeah, like it's slightly different when you're doing comments, but it starts to actually add up, because I suspect you've witnessed the same behavior that I've witnessed before, where you're maybe replying to a comment on a merge request, and then you come back to the page and that same reply that you're putting in actually appears as a new comment, and there's some slightly interesting behavior there. I guess that's because the autosave key isn't I don't know what you want to call it, like isn't specific enough, or
yeah, they're not unique or something.
In the meantime, you were right. The cancel button did clear the local storage.
Cool.
Well, I guess. Well, it's as simple as adding normal autosave clear on.
Is it all right for me to reshare?
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
just double checking before we expose anything to.
Yeah. Oh. Only a couple of seconds.
No worries. Andrew, I definitely sort of think that it's worth us trying to, I don't know what the word is, express, verbalize, vocalize, get down in an issue, some of the sort of questionable aspects of the behavior. And yeah, if we've got any other bright ideas as to how it could be improved moving forward. Whether we do already have any of those or not, I don't know. I'll quickly have a look if there's any existing issues. Right, so what are we talking about? GitLab issues. Autosave. Only 21 results for autosave. That's a good start.
And I'm back again.
Hello.
Okay, so the cancel button.
Yes.
And the cancel button has this ID or selector. Oh, nice. That has a JS reset autosave. Which I wonder why it doesn't work.
So the nice thing there is we could add that to the save button, right? And we could then use that as the query selector instead of.
What do you mean?
Well, rather than specifically targeting the save and like having to set up two listeners or whatever, we can just use a class JS reset autosave and use that as the query selector here, right?
Yes, but the create issue button doesn't have that class. We could always add it.
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if there's any concerns or risks or issues.
My only concern is about whether that class is used somewhere else, like issuable form. Issuable form. Maybe this is the old form. Form on click button cancel JS reset autosave.
Although even that seems a bit bonkers to me that it's got that class assigned to it, yet it still needs to be told, pointed at this method, because you would have thought that purely having the class attached to it would enable that functionality.
But yes and no, because I think that the name is generic, but at least the name of that class is generic, but the functionality is not. I think this is the old issuable form.
Right.
Yeah, 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure this is what the new issuable description with the rich text editor replaced. And I wonder if this is used by the new merge request. Page. No, it is using the new editor as well. Yeah, I think that's just legacy code that at some point will be removed.
Right.
So I wonder, should we add the class to the create button as well? I think we could be good to go with that. Yeah, because the only other place where that class is used is on the old issuable form. So I guess we're good.
Cool.
So JS auto save.
I'll be right back.
What is it you're looking for?
I was looking how to get the list of buttons with the JS with that query selector. So I just had to change the function. Okay.
Do you need to do a for loop?
If we
Can't
have,
you just do it for the whole group, for the list?
how? How do you mean?
I might be going back to jQuery syntax here, but I'm pretty sure you can just do like reset autosave buttons .add listener or add event listener.
Isn't that jQuery only?
Maybe.
Yeah, this is using for each.
What is it? Node list add event listener. Yeah.
No, I have to do the for loop. Well, I could use a for each, but that
4 for each. It's all the same, isn't it?
yeah should be the same. So yeah. And the only other thing I have to do is add the class in here. JS output say result say here and here. Show new record. Create. Add. Okay. Okay. New issue. Oh, there was an error for a second. Reset autosave button's length is not a function. Where is it? Here. Oh, it's not a function. Okay, and if I do cancel and new issue, yes, that worked.
Nice.
Okay, and I wonder, does it clear the title?
That would have been a good way to test this, actually, wouldn't it? Because that would have shown us the old behavior because the title wasn't regressed. So awesome.
Okay, so this is working, and I guess Markdown editor added the autosave ID check. This clears the cancel as well. This as well.
Would you mind just indulging me for a moment, Marco? Did you look, or could we have a quick look? So when you click the cancel button, I think this was on the old issuable form. I can't remember, but you found the code that attached the reset autosave function to the cancel button.
Yes.
But it didn't attach that class. Yeah, exactly. But it didn't attach the reset autosave class or function directly to the submit button. Does the handle submit method then call reset autosave, or how did we previously?
Yeah, reset autosave.
Right, so it does everything else, and then right at the end. Okay.
Yeah, it submits the form and then does the reset autosave. So technically speaking, the problem Andrew was worried about was already there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no. Yeah, well, I didn't think there was anything magical that we'd lost. We'd just broken the. But yeah, I guess. To add to what you were saying, Andrew, about like as and when this becomes more of an SPA, once the whole page is a view component, I guess the submit button wouldn't start a page load. It would submit the form. You could get the response back, and then you could clear the autosave and then redirect sort of client side. Yeah, that would be a nicer experience. When somebody wants to take on the task of converting the whole page to view. When I say whole page, it's not whole page, is it? It's just the whole form, I should say, right?
Yeah.
Which parts of the form aren't view components then?
The title, the type, I guess. Come on.
Can you use the View DevTools
Yeah.
inspector to I think if you click in the top right, there's a target, a bullseye type icon.
Top here.
To the right of it.
That's it. I think if you wave that around, it will show you which ones are and which ones aren't. So the
This
type
one
is
and this one, at least the drop down is, but the field is not.
right.
This is not. No. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
No.
No.
No. But these are all things that already have their view component created.
GitLab UI, yeah. So I mean, it's one of those where there's 50% of me saying, "Oh, it should be easy," but another 50% of me that really, really knows the craziness and the complexities of the code base and how it wouldn't be straightforward.
Yeah, especially because
Yeah.
to put all the components together and write the tests that already exist for the page,
Yeah.
but then in Vue. And
I mean, you'd kind of want to start by building a new view form and pulling in the title, type, and description, and then slowly move one field up into the form at a time. Otherwise, you're just going to have a bunch of random view components that
Yeah,
aren't.
that might
combined.
work. Because as long as you assign the names to the fields, then it can continue to work as a legacy form, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I.e., the submit button is doing what it needs to do. Yeah.
the merge request, just for fun, I was checking the merge request. Description is, ICNE is not, reviewer is not, milestone is.
That was the same as the issue one for some reason.
Yeah.
No, the issue did not have the milestone converted to a view component.
I think it was.
I'm going back and check.
It was one of the only fields that was for some reason. But...
Yeah. I know that there are other two fields that are not visible in here because I'm not a contributor, an external contributor to the Flight project in this case, which are the two checkboxes that I don't remember what they do.
Allow maintainers to push
Yes.
to your branch. Yeah.
Yeah, those ones are converted to Vue component, or at least to Pajamas components. And now I remember the milestone. Yeah, this one is because the gray is a little bit different. That's another way to distinguish between old components and new components.
I remember. I can't remember. I can't remember what the component was, or but I added a new field to a form, and I did notice that slight.
But, well, you notice even here from the title and the drop down, the gray on the title is a little bit darker, and the due date as well.
I wish I could say I thought that was a deliberate thing, so that we could identify your components. Cool.
It definitely is now.
Yeah, we've made it so.
Exactly. So right now, what I am missing is adding I'm still tempted to add a spec to the Markdown editor to make sure that when that event is fired, we are clearing the autosave storage.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that we aren't checking even for the even if the autosave is saving. So I don't know. Local storage. Oh, maybe we are checking local storage. Autosave. Oh, yeah, we are. Autosave.
Cool.
Saves the text area, loads the value from local storage, doesn't load the value from Okay, I'm going to add the test in here to make sure that when that event is firing, we are clearing the autosave storage. Okay. Awesome.
Wicked.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that now because that would take too much time.
No, that's fair.
Okay. Well, pretty successful session as
Yeah, great progress. Thanks, Marco. And like maybe we can just collaborate on a follow-up issue afterwards as well. Like if we can add some notes to the MR to sort of say some of the ideas we had or potential concerns or areas for improvement, then we could definitely move that to a follow-up.
Yeah, even though I think that would all boil down to a UX review, because we could even say screw it, if the page errors out, then we
Oh yeah, I don't get me wrong. I don't think these are blocking in any way, and I don't like. I think the first thing is to restore the status quo, or whatever you call it, get it back to working how it was and how we vaguely think it should. And then I couldn't see any issues, even though I find it suspicious. I couldn't find any existing issues around autosave and sort of discussing better approaches or room for improvement.
Actually, there might be another way of achieving that without needing to rewrite the whole page as a view component. If we bypass the submit, so we handle the submit in JavaScript, we post to the backend and wait for the response, and then
almost converting the create or the save button to a view component potentially, so it does the asynchronous form submission. And then the only problem with that, I mean, it's perfectly doable, but without it being an SPA or whatever you want to call it, you've then got to use query selectors and horrible mechanisms to get the data out of the form. Whereas if you've got a single component and you've got model binding, the other awesome thing is there's a new component that's just hit the shelves.
The one from Paul?
Yeah.
The form fields?
Exactly. So creating, albeit that this wouldn't add a ton of value in this scenario because each of the components are so bespoke, the GL form fields is going to be much better for a basic form with text boxes and some validation, etc. But I thought that was quite a nice segue.
What's that new component? Can we see it anywhere?
Yeah, so let me open it up and then share the browser window. So you probably remember I worked on the CRM stuff. For the CRM stuff, I got a bit kind of frustrated, if that's the right word, with the fact that to create a form, I needed to reinvent the wheel a little bit, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of copy paste of like the structure of a form, so where you have to create divs for each label and field combination, and then you create the label for element, and then you all the sort of boilerplate stuff. So I actually created and now I'm not going to be able to find that component either, but I will try. I created a sort of vaguely reusable component. I think it's CRM form, maybe. CRM form, spec CRM form, which does something vaguely clever where I think it takes this array of fields and essentially loops through them in
278.
Yeah, so it loops through and creates a form group for every field in that array, and then renders the relevant, drop downs and text boxes and bits and pieces. The problem is my implementation of this reusable component has got loads of like Apollo stuff in there. It's tightly coupled to GL Draw, and there's a lot of coupling in there. And the suggestion at the time, and what's finally come to fruition, is the sort of moving this to a strictly UI thingamabob, reusable component. And I'm sure there's some nice documentation in here, which probably can describe it much better than me. So yeah, form builder functionality, and one of the best things is that alongside it, there's a validators as well, which allows you to kind of really easily specify validators for each field. So that can be basic, like this is a numeric, or it's a required field, or can be much more complex, like this needs to be uppercase, or matching for a form for a password field or whatever. And that's, again, ties nicely to then display the validation messages and all that kind of boilerplate stuff that you would find yourself writing over and over again. I hope that sounds somewhat exciting.
Definitely sounds like it'll save a lot of time.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know if I'd use it on the CRM. Like, I think that's probably a bit more complex, but I'd like to find a nice opportunity to, once this, I thought it was merged, but it looks like it's close to being merged, but not quite there. But maybe we find like a simple form that we can replace with this, and slowly work towards more complex ones.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Have a great day, Marco. Great evening, Andrew, and catch you on the flip side.
Yes.
Will do.
Well,
is anyone around for some debugging with me?
Oh, you want to have a look at something else?
Oh, it doesn't have to be on the stream. I'm just trying to get my GDK up to date again, but I'm getting some weird Gitterly issue.
Yeah, I'm up for. I'll try and set myself a 15-minute timer before I get some lunch. But yeah, if you want to dig in, I'm guessing maybe Marco's boss will want him back, but I don't know.
I might just close my video and audio and eat in the background.
Awesome. Did you want to share a screen, Andrew, or is there some other stuff that you might not want on?
No, that should work, I think. Can you see that?
I can if I press the right button. Yep, absolutely.
Yay. Hopefully that's showing my whole virtual machine so you can see everything.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm getting this weird. So I've done the GDK update and everything seems to be running.
Okay.
Run.
Got a down for Gitterly prefect.
Oh, want up. Oh. Well, there you go then. Oh, I didn't even notice it was in the first column. I was trying to read this stuff. Yeah. Okay. GDK tail.
Doctor? Oh, okay.
Doctor.
Okay.
Oh, that's Doctor.
Something on the brain there.
How do I was trying to find the logs for the Gitterly container. Is that GDK tail Gitterly or?
Yeah, I think it would be maybe prefect Gitterly. I'm not entirely sure, but okay, so it's not overly helpful.
Cannot open no such file or directory. Okay. How about we just try and start it again then? Unknown run it service.
Wonder if the
do I need the -0?
I think so.
No.
Try just Gitterly like you said initially. I don't. Oh, it
Oh,
looks
that
like
was that, and then that was that.
looks like it started it, but whether it's fallen straight back over again, down. So yeah,
I
and
wonder if we do a tail for that.
yeah, definitely.
Oh gosh. Unavailable desk. Yep, because the service is down.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but is it? See, that's what I don't know what prefect Gitaly is, because I can't see a Gitaly service there. I don't know if there is. Let me just check my machine.
Traffic manager making your Git data. So what is this? So this is a GitLab service.
Yeah, so it's weird that Gitaly doesn't have its own. It's not a service in itself.
Yeah. Can I tail that here whilst
Try it. Yeah, booting it up, I
doing a
guess.
start there?
I just don't know that this prefect's going to give us. Oh, maybe it will.
Starting Gitly. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Invalid config. Gitly Ruby dir is not set
Okay.
using this toml file. Do you have that defined in your config?
I will have a look now. So it should be in the Gitaly folder. Gitaly prefect toml.
Oh, it's a big file.
What was the name of the? What were we looking for in there? Sorry.
Gitly Ruby dir is not set.
Nope, I don't have that. A socket path. Have you got the file open there as well? Or
Yeah.
socket path, bin dar, runtime dar, storage. Yeah, I mean.
Auth git storage logging GitLab shell GitLab and then
Yeah, it
self-signed cert is false.
doesn't really look any different to mine, to be honest.
GDK update should update Gitly as well, right?
Yeah.
Where was that? Oh, wait.
Doesn't look like yours is up to date, does it?
Hmm. Two 2,500 commit sounds quite out of date. GDK, let's try another update.
Yeah.
It's weird that it was just on some random commit and not an actual branch or tag or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unlikely. I was going to suggest that maybe something that you were working on before required you to check out a specific version, but it's, like I say, it's unlikely.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what Gitly actually does, to be honest.
Not a clue myself either, unfortunately.
I'm assuming something to do with Git, but
Gitly handles all the Git server stuff.
So is it like a bridge between the GitLab Ruby sort of Rousey stuff and Git, or?
I think it's actually the Git server itself.
okay.
It's interesting that it's downloading all this stuff, isn't it? Because if you just did a
Yeah.
GDK update a minute ago, surely.
I'm assuming this is all Gitly stuff. Is Gitly
guess.
written in Go? Yeah.
Yes, okay.
It's
Oh, so it's checked out updating Gitly to some. It's checked out a hash again.
yeah, but I last week when I also updated my GDK, I had to run GDK update twice, and it updated a bunch of stuff every time. So I think the first time it updated some part of it, and then continued with the second run.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
could
because I checked out
be-
master and now it's gone on to.
Could it
this
be
command.
that the version of GitLab that's it's basically making sure it checks out the right version of Gitly for the version of GitLab? So that would allow
maybe-
you to like pull a version of GitLab from a month ago, but also it would ensure that you were running the sort of corresponding version of Gitly and all the other services. Because otherwise, if you wanted to try and roll back to an old version, you'd struggle because there'd be incompatibilities between the different services.
So maybe when I did GDK update the first time, it saw I was on an old GitLab, so checked out the old Gitly, but then updated GitLab, and then didn't re-update the Gitly version.
That sounds quite possible.
So kind of got in some weird race conditions.
Yeah, like an order inconsistency.
Yeah, you also had 6 months. Of supply, so
Yes. All right, I'll let you guys go now then.
Well, I feel like this is close to, but I can never remember quite what order of. Do you know what I mean? What it does first and last, and
because there we go. Now it's updating GitLab.
Yeah, which it shouldn't have much to do, right? If you just
no, I've already because I ran GDK update already.
Yeah,
but it does update Gitly before it updates GitLab, so you can get a case of old Gitly for new GitLab.
Like my time is still going, so I've got 5 minutes left on the clock. I'm intrigued to see if this brings it back to life, or just if we get any other challenges. But
the rest of this should be pretty quick now. I just wasn't sure how long that Go stuff would take.
I almost started working on another Go MR at the weekend, but bowed out. In the end, I just added some comments to the code and raised the PR to improve the documentation. The limitation or extent of my Go PR so far have been very much that when I started in Ruby World, the kind of, I'll copy a bit of code that does the same thing and just tweak it.
What was it for? Which service?
So I've done an MR for the GitLab Terraform provider, or I always get the words the wrong way around, the Terraform provider for GitLab, or whatever way around it is. But in order to do that, I had to make an upstream change first to the Go GitLab. I don't know what you call that. Like it's like a Ruby gem, like the Go package, maybe. What
do they call them? Cargo?
Maybe. I'm
Cargo package.
Sure. But yeah, essentially the Terraform provider uses the off-the-shelf GitLab Go package, so I had to sort of make some changes upstream there, which I could then integrate into. So yeah, I've done a couple now, but they've pretty much been copy paste, and not a huge understanding yet.
Yeah,
all running. That looks promising.
It's going to take 5 minutes to start that, won't it?
Yeah, hit and miss. So is this how you had your development environment configured pre house move, etc., or have you got a new config now? I can't remember quite. How
No, this is all as it was. So I was going to try and set up a new virtual machine, but I've just tried to update this one for now and see if it actually updates. Oh, it did. It worked.
And that's a VM running on your local machine, yeah.
Yeah, so I run Fedora on my main machine.
Yep.
But the GDK GitLab development kit only supports Fedora like 35 or something, I think.
Right.
Yeah, 36 with some workarounds, which I've never been able to get, or 35, which is very old now.
Okay.
So this is a virtual machine running Ubuntu 2004, actually, not 2204, because again,
there's some workarounds.
2204 needs.
I think it's all open. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When Marco said that Ruby's been updated, I was hoping that might have been updated because I think Ruby 3 something or other supports OpenSSL 3 as well, which is the reason why Fedora and newer Ubuntu doesn't work.
It's possible that obviously someone just hasn't checked and updated this doc. It's also possible, and I know we've got a bit of a weird scenario of like different Ruby versions in different projects. It might be okay. Everything might be on 3+ now, but we certainly had like a scenario where the GDK, for example, was on Ruby 3, but GitLab was still on Ruby 2. Or so yeah, like, but please feel free.
I have tried updating my GDK on Fedora as well because I still have that going from when
cool.
It was working. I'm getting this. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, hang on. Oh no, not Sudoku. No. Is there not a text editor? Text editor. There you go. Can I paste this in here? Here we go. I am getting all of these errors in Fedora at the moment. I have no idea why.
So I've had to do a couple of gem pristines before. I think the Re2 and Sherlock Holmes, which I can't see on your list at the moment, I had to do.
Yeah.
But I've not had to do that many before. You could try them. No harm.
Yeah, I might try a GDK pristine as well and see if that works.
Yeah, or even just like blow it away and start with the one liner or however your preferred method, because I think that there's not a huge difference between trying to reset the database and spin everything up versus just like, let's clone it afresh and get everything installed from scratch.
Yeah.
But it looks like your VM's up and running, so it's a good start.
Yeah, if the VM's working, I'll definitely keep that as is for now and then see what... sorry, I'm seeing changes in the GDK that weren't there last time I used it.
Nice.
Yeah, and see if I can get Fedora working as well. But again, I'm not too fussed if I can't.
Okay.
That's what the VM's for.
Wicked. Great to speak to you, Andrew. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Go on.
I was just going to say, hope I can be a bit more
active,
punctual from now on.
It's all good. We all like life, changes and work changes and other bits and pieces. But
it has been a crazy time. Oh, that's your 15 minutes.
It is, yeah, exactly. So we did pretty well there. But we'll catch you on the flip side.
Will do. Catch you next week.
Cheers.